Welcome once again to your update from the city of New Hope. Time to get caught up on what's happening and what is coming up in the city. We're recording this on September 30th, and I'm joined by the mayor, Kathi Hemken. Welcome, Mayor. How are you today?
I'm just fine, thank you. I have to tell people the golf course doesn't quite look like that yet, but boy, is it getting close. And this
Yes.
weather is absolutely phenomenal.
Yes, and we're going to talk about the golf course in a few minutes, how there's more opportunities now to play some golf. But let's run down the list of things happening in the city. We're going to begin with something that already happened at the golf course that was a big bonus of an event with lots of people. Tell us about who was there recently and how much fun they had.
Well, it used to be called the Midwest Chamber of Commerce. It's now the Minneapolis Northwest Chamber of Commerce. And we do a golf tournament with them every year. And we get part of the proceeds of that golf tournament. And then we give those proceeds to like Prism and Safety Camp and the Human Rights Commission, just all kinds of places that they go. So it was an evening shotgun start. I decided not to play. I've got new knees. I don't want to be walking around in the dark and not seeing where I'm going. So I didn't play. Instead, I just helped serve. But it was really a fun time and a real good turnout.
Fantastic. Hats off to everyone involved. We've been talking about that property at 3840 Oregon for a while, and this is the week that we're going to see something happen to that property that will be both a training exercise and getting ready for its next use. Tell us about that event coming up.
Well, it is. So this is the house that sits in the park. And if you've been by there recently, you'll notice the house is boarded up. And the reason for that is they have to remove the glass when they do the live burn, because you certainly don't want glass around when you're doing that. So they've taken out the windows, they've boarded that up. The next step is on Saturday, on Friday, they'll have Saturday, the 5th, they'll have a live burn there. Now they'll start training there about 9 o'clock, and they'll do all kinds of other training. They won't actually set the house on fire till about 2:30 in the afternoon. So if you want to see it, you can. You'll be behind barriers, of course, but you can go see that. They want to make sure that everybody's safe. A lot of training goes on in that house, and it's really good for everybody that we can do that. But it's kind of fun to see that if you want to go.
All right, let's move to community development. The number of houses being worked on under scatter site housing and some coming into the system. Let's begin with 4220 Nevada. This one about ready for demolition, I understand.
Okay, this is the house that did the lot split. So the EDA approved that. They did the lot split. They sent out the demolition bids, and that demolition came in, and that was awarded to a company that we've done work with before. So you should start seeing some demolition of both the house and the garage. I don't know if they're going to do, I don't think they're doing a live burn. They're too close to the gas station, but they are doing some training there. So you might see the fire department there, and you might see the police department there before the demolition starts.
Next property is 5410 Zealand, and this is a new property in scatter site housing. Tell us about the process as it begins here.
So typically they call us. We don't go to them. So somebody must have called us and said we're interested. So our staff went out and viewed the property, made an offer on the property. Now the EDA, the Economic Development Authority, which basically is the city council, will look at that at their next meeting, and we'll decide if that's an appropriate bid. In the meantime, the owner of the house is considering the bid. Once that all happens and they accept the bid, then we actually buy the house, and then the process goes on, and you know how that goes. So nothing actually is going to happen on that this year. I think there's going to be just a lot of back and forth until we get that all settled. We don't have a date on the closing of the lot. We don't even have an agreement on the price, but we're looking at it.
All right, we'll keep people up to date. Up to 54th in Virginia, a couple properties there, and it looks like you have some contractors that are ready to go and build some new homes.
Well, you know, we like to go out to lots of contractors. We don't want just the same style house everywhere. And besides, it's, you know, when people are looking to buy a house, they want some differences in the houses. So the one at 5421, that contract went to Donna Homes. When I say the contract, that's the contract for the lot. And Donna Homes is going to build on there. They're going to build a new style Rambler on that house. This is the first new house that we're having built in the Rambler style. But not everybody wants stairs, so that's why this is coming on. So they're going to close on that probably on the lot in the next couple months. And once that lot is sold to them, then we might see some action yet this year, but don't know.
Next stop is 5692 Boone Place, and it looks like this is about ready for closing and moving to the next stage of the process. Give us the update there.
So this one was sold to Exceptional Homes, and they're looking to build a two-story house here. And the same thing, they'll close on the lot in the next couple months, and then once it's closed, it's up to the builder whether they start or not. Don't know if they'll start digging or not, but you never know. So each one gets a different look to it.
Very good. Over to the 7900 block of 50th. We've got a couple homes here that are moving through the process of listing and also closing. Give us those updates.
Well, let me just back up a little bit to the 5692 Boone Place. That one's going to close this week on Friday. So it's all built and they're closing on Friday. We'll have a new resident in that house. Now the two that are on 50th and Winnetka, the one that's right on the corner, that's been listed on MLS for $440. They got multiple offers on that. They're discussing which offer they're going to take, and I'm guessing they're going to be able to close on that within the next month or so.
All right, go ahead.
The internal one, the gray one, that one's been done for quite a while. They also have an offer on that, and that's going to close the end of October. So again, we'll have another new family moving in.
Very nice. Down the block to 8024 50th Avenue. Tell us about this house that is in the selling process as well.
So that lot was sold to Great Buy Homes. Great Buy has done 12 homes, and we asked them to do something different this time. And so they're also building a two-story. So again, we'll sell the lot. That should be closing on the lot the next couple months. It all seems like it takes forever, and it does, because everything they do has to come back to the city council. We have to look at it, approve it. It just, city government works slow, but we just have to do that.
There are some processes to follow, I understand. Continuing on in community development, a few other notes to pass along. First is the business networking group. They are meeting soon. So if you're watching this early in the recording, you can still get to it. When is the next meeting?
October 2nd, which is Wednesday, 8:30 in the morning. It'll be at City Hall. It's being hosted by Remax, the realtors. A lot of times we'll get a little update on what the market looks like these days, how houses are selling. They'll talk about interest rates. They're there to ask and answer questions for us, and it's free. So if you're interested in any of that, 8:30 at City Hall.
And if you missed that one, just look ahead quickly to November. The one on November 6th at 2 p.m. is going to be at a fun spot, Can Do Canine. So Mayor and I will be talking about that as we get closer to that. Final note under community development, a new business in town. Give us some of those details.
Okay, it's called Enriching Home Care Services. And this is at 9220 Bass Lake Road. It's right off of 169 and Bass Lake Road. What they're going to do is provide services to disabled people in their homes. So just a new business coming to New Hope.
Next department to touch on this week is the police department. A lot to update here. First is the Citizens Police Academy. We've been following their activity. What were they doing this last time, Mayor?
So 3 cities, New Hope, Crystal, and Robbinsdale, are involved in this, and they're moving from city to city because each group has their own bunch of police officers that are talking to these residents that are part of this academy. So this last one, they talked about school resource officers, what they do, where they are, how many we have. They're also doing some community engagement officers, again, what they do. And they're talking about DWI. I don't know if it's how to avoid a DWI or just what happens when you get pulled over for a DWI. Again, very interesting stuff.
Here's something that you might want to keep in the back of your mind for the future. We've talked many times about the youth safety camp and how successful it is. Well, now there's talk about a senior safety camp. Tell us more.
Well, they are. Brad Callio, our community service officer, is working with the fire department and with our park and rec department. And they're going to have a senior safety camp, probably in 2025. They'll be talking not only with activities in the park and rec department, but what the fire department does if you need to have them out, how to avoid fraud, what to do about if you fall in your house, what to do. So it's a really a good camp on senior safety. I'm I'm impressed that they're going to do that. I'm probably going to be the first one to sign up.
It sounds like a great opportunity. Final note from police. They had some visitors to the police department not too long ago that were there for a tour. Who came in?
This is so fun. So 10 Girl Scouts from a little Girl Scout troop, they were 10 years old. They came in because they were working on two of their badges. One of them was How Does Government Work? And the other one was Inside Government. So after an hour of listening to me, who is also a Girl Scout, by the way, listening to me on how they make laws, I asked if they'd like to see the council chambers, and I got a yes. And then I asked if they'd like to see the police department, and they got a more enthusiastic yes. So Lorelei from our police department took them on a tour of the jail. It was the height of the evening for them. It was so fun. So just to tell people, if you've got a Girl Scout or a Boy Scout troop that you'd like to bring in, just give us a call. We'll see if we can fit that in. If they don't want the little instructions on how to get badges, we can skip that and just do the tour of the police department if that's what they really want. So,
what a great opportunity. Again, the city's website, newhopemn.gov. You can find out the contact information there to the police department if you would like to get in on one of those tours. Let's move ahead to Public Works. These folks are busy as the seasons change. What has that staff been up to in the past week or so?
Well, they're still mowing, for heaven's sakes. They thought they'd be done with that, but they're still mowing. And of course, after they're done mowing, they have to clean up all that stuff and oil everything. And they're hoping to put it away inside the new building, but they haven't been able to do that yet. But what else they're doing is they're doing some tree trimming where it affects the sidewalks. And those pads that they laid down around Northwood Park, they're now starting to put in the exercise equipment onto those pads. The other thing they're doing is they're pouring us a concrete pad at Public Works. These guys do everything.
Busy staff.
As they drive around the city, they wave at me. I love it.
Very nice, very nice. And one final road project that they're still working on that's hanging in there, but it sounds like it's about to come to an end. Give us those exciting details.
This is where you go, phew. Yeah. So they're finally going to put that final wear coat on the streets. And they're telling me sometime in early October, I'm thinking before the 15th, and then they will be done. They'll be done with the streets. What happens after that is they go and they make sure that any disruption to your yard or the boulevard gets repaired. So they'll go and do that kind of repair. If they've done the streets and you haven't seen anybody to come repair, you need to call Public Works and tell them that you need them out there to repair that. We want your yard to look just like it did before they did the street. However, if you're in Crystal, don't call New Hope. Call your Crystal Public Works Department because they'll fix that for them, and we'll fix the New Hope ones.
Yeah, sometimes tough to figure out those borders in certain parts of the city. Let's move ahead to Park and Rec, and a lot of fun coming up here. And again, if you're watching this early, October 5th is a busy date. What's happening on the 5th?
I'm going to tell you something before that. How you can tell if you live in New Hope or Crystal.
Okay.
Or if you're driving through.
Sure.
Crystal's signs, street signs, are green. New Hope's are blue.
Mm-hmm.
And if you happen to wander into Robbinsdale, they have little birds on them. So that's how you can tell.
Easy enough. Thank you.
Easy enough. So now we're at Park and Rec. They're having on the 5th of October something called Trick or Trot, and that'll be from 4:30 to 6:30, but you have to register for that because there is a cost for that. I believe it's $10. You can get a scholarship help if you need that. You have to go to City Hall with proof of residency. But we want everybody to participate that can. And so after that, they're showing the movie Hotel Transylvania, and that'll be outdoors if it doesn't rain. That'll be outdoors, and that's free. It starts at 6:45. So if you just want to come for the movie, come on over at 6:45 to the outdoor theater.
Very good. And I just want to double check. Is that at Civic Center Park or at Northwood Park?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's at Civic Center Park.
Civic Center Park by City Hall. Very good.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Let's talk about the gyms over there at Cooper High School, some gyms that the community can use, and they are in training mode, it sounds like right now.
It is. So those gyms, for those people that don't know, we, the city and the school district, both built those gyms together with the idea that the school would use the gyms during the day and during the school year, and the city would use them on the weekends and when school isn't in session. And so to make sure that those gyms are used properly and kept up and cleaned up, we have gym attendants. And they're in the process now of training those gym attendants for that purpose.
Let's talk about the city forester. Believe it or not, this is probably one of the busiest times of the year for the forester. What are some of the activities that they're busy with right now?
Well, we talk about the forester because he is assigned to Park and Rec. So that's why it comes under this part. But one of the things he's doing is sending out delinquency notices for people who haven't mowed their lawn or for weeds. I have to tell you, you're going to get a notice that says you have a fine coming, but you still have to mow your lawn, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But now you get to mow your lawn and pay the fine. So, gosh, mow your lawn. So we don't. In fact, if you can't for whatever reason, you need to call the forester and talk to them. Maybe something can get worked out. But if you haven't contacted them at all, you're probably going to get a fine for not mowing that grass. So he's also working on tree planting for all the trees that came down because of the emerald ash borer. And so I called and said, what is taking so long? And he said, well, they have to make sure they know where all of not only the pipes, but the underground wiring, cables, things like that, gas lines. So they have to identify all those before they can decide where to put those trees. And of course, they won't be on the boulevards. They need to be back a little bit. So, but if you have a tree that's dead, that hasn't been taken down, or nobody's put a red X or an orange X on it, you can always call the forester and he'll come out. He's also been talking to residents about what they can do with the trees in their yard, how they can either try to save them or maybe some suggestions on taking them down. It's an expensive process.
It is quite a process, understand. Let's go to the golf course. Talk about that beautiful course behind you that, again, is not quite that brown, but it's getting there. But now is a perfect time to play coming up. But it was a super busy weekend once again.
The ground itself is absolutely gorgeous. Mm-hmm. It's still bright green. Some of the trees are changing, not all of them. But I suggest you don't use yellow or orange balls because you can't find them as these leaves start to fall down. Mm-hmm. I learned that the hard way, by the way. It just blends in. So this last weekend, they had the Crime Prevention Board and the police department put on their night golf tournament. That starts at 8 o'clock at night. It was last Friday. I didn't play because of the new knees, and I don't want to be walking around in the dark, tripping. It's so embarrassing when you fall down on your face. So instead, I stayed back and did some help with that. So a lot of money is raised. It all goes back to the Crime Prevention Fund. And the Crime Prevention Fund then gives it back to the police department when they want or need stuff that isn't necessarily on the budget. Mm-hmm. So all of these times that the community development officers goes to the parks and makes hot dogs, that comes out of the Crime Prevention Fund. So it all goes back to a really good cause. Mm-hmm. So then on Saturday morning, they had the Chicks with Sticks. This is the women playing with sticks with golf clubs. I told the guys they could play, but they had to wear a skirt. We didn't have any guys sign up. Gosh, I wonder why. So that was quite successful. And then on Sunday, they had a singles golf tournament, their year-end golf tournament. So it's been busy over there all weekend. And now the leagues are done, so there'll be a little more time to play during the day, except for this coming Wednesday when the employee golf tournament is held. So this gives all our employees a chance to be out. That starts later in the day, though, so you'll still have time during the day to play.
Very nice. Busy place there. Also a busy place at the ice arena. Give us a quick overview of some of the groups that are taking advantage of that ice arena.
Oh, gosh. It's so busy over there. I don't know how they do all this stuff. I'm going to read some of this stuff. So there'll be open skating on Friday from 6:30 to 8. And there'll be open skating on Sunday from 4 to 6. So besides those two times, the youth hockey is there doing their skate tryouts, if you will. They have the kids skate to evaluate how well or not well they skate so they can find the right group to put them in. Mm-hmm. Also, the girls, Armstrong Cooper girls hockey will have practices. There's a few men's group that are playing there. There's some other clinics that are going on there. I have to tell people that everybody that uses that ice pays for it. So there's nobody skating on that ice that isn't paying for it. we need that. I mean, that's how we pay for the ice arena. It's a very expensive piece of property we have. We think it's an amenity. We want to keep it. Therefore, we have to charge for people to use it. But it's a busy time.
Final note to pass along in Park and Rec is the aquatic park. And Mayor, it sounds like they're getting into the very technical cleaning now, some of the final stages of that process.
Yeah. Well, everything that has water in it or had water in it obviously has to have whatever they put in there to keep it from freezing. They also have to clean everything, all the blowers, all the chemical controllers, the pumps, all that has to be drained and cleaned. And so they're in the process of doing that. There'll be somebody over there they're just loving this warm weather, by the way. Usually they do this and it's cold. We've had times where they've been out there with gloves and they're loving the warm weather.
Mm-hmm.
But the pool is not open. There's just stuff being done over there to get it ready for winter.
Very good. Let's move ahead to HR. Just one note to pass along here, and this is something rather unique. Safety training for non-public works and police department staff. Explain what this means.
Well, of course, we have to have safety training for public works, and that's pretty intense, not only the machines that they're running, but where they're going. And it's the same thing for the police department. They have first aid training and just safety training. Well, there's a lot of non-public work employees, and there's staff at the police department, not police officers, but staff. And so they're having this safety training for both of those groups to make sure that everybody's safe, everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing or what they're not supposed to be doing. So that's what they had last week.
All right, a few final notes to pass along in our update from the city of New Hope. The first is about time to watch your mailbox for something coming from the city. Mayor, what is about ready to come out?
Well, our newsletter, it's called In Touch. Lots of good information that's coming out. You'll hear a lot of the same stuff I'm talking about, but now you actually get to see some pictures too. So that's at the printer. You should see that probably in the next week or so. And that's mailed to every single address in New Hope. If you don't get one for whatever reason, please call City Hall and say, I didn't get one and something's wrong. We'll make sure that you do get one. You can always pick up one at City Hall in case you happen to throw yours away.
As we're recording this on September 30th, tomorrow, October 1st, is a special day if you are interested in getting that city services survey in. But I understand, Mayor, there might be a little grace period here for a few people, right?
Well, we're fudging a little bit.
Okay.
Tomorrow is the last day for that. If you haven't done the city services survey, you can go online and get that. You could go into City Hall and get a paper copy. It should have been one that was mailed in one of your bills, but you might have thrown away at this point. We really want feedback from people. And they said, even if you haven't finished it or you've got it there and you're thinking about it, they'll take them till the end of the week, but they can't take anything after that because at some point they need to come up with the percentages and they need to come up with some numbers and they have to have the cutoff somewhere. So they're going to, they'll fudge it just a few days, but please don't make them wait.
Makes sense.
Get it in. We use those.
Yeah, get those in. All right, here's the date to put on your calendar. A Thursday coming up on October. Looks like it's going to have a fun-filled evening. What day is it and what's happening that evening?
Well, that's city days. We tried it outside. That didn't work so well. It's really better inside because we know it's not going to rain unless the sprinklers go off. So what happens on the 24th of October is all of the departments will have tables set up in the hallways. There'll be things for the kids to do. You can go to all these tables and find out exactly what happens at each department, such as community development, the police department, park and rec. Also, the Human Rights Commission gets money from the New Hope Lions and the New Hope Rotary, and they buy color cranes, and they're called Colors of the World. And basically what they are is skin colored. So they're anywhere from light, this color, to a darker brown. And the kids are asked to draw a picture of themselves with the color of their skin, themselves and their caregiver, whether it's a parent or a babysitter or just a friend or a teacher. And then we take all these pictures that we get from the kindergartners in New Hope and we post them all over City Hall. So the kids come in with their parents to see the pictures and they stop and see the tables around there of the city services. And then after that's over, they can actually go outside, and there'll be police and fire vehicles out there and some public works vehicles, so they can see those. They can go around to the trunks of these cars and mine, quite frankly, and get some treats. So that's happening from 7 to 8. So inside City Hall, it's 5 to 7, 7 to 8 outside.
Very good. And that's all again on Thursday, October 24th, right there at City Hall. So make sure you stop by. Time for just a couple other notes. One is the In Focus photo contest, and maybe you want to take some pictures at the Trunk or Treat event. Tell us about this contest and one of the new categories as well.
Well, for me, this is always so fun. I look at these pictures and go, really? That's in New Hope? So all the pictures must be taken in New Hope. We're asking that citizens, or if you work at a business in New Hope, you can enter into this contest. So the categories are people, places, wildlife and nature, and the new categories, events and activities. So a good place to take those are the trick or trot, trick or trunk, your child playing in one of our vehicles. There's many things you can take pictures of. So this is an event where we ask you to submit those pictures by the 31st of October. We'll let people come into City Hall and see the pictures online if they want, or at City Hall until sometime in November, because we have them until the 31st of October to put them in. So there's some information online on how to submit the pictures. You get to submit one picture per category. And we also have a People's Choice Award. So you'll be voting on the pictures. There'll be a place to vote on the People's Choice. We also have an under 18 category so that the photographs from kids can be taken and submitted. So lots of stuff to do. We love those pictures. A lot of times you'll see those pictures on some of our publications. It's always on our Park and Rec brochure. That's a picture that somebody took probably.
All right. And all of that information, as you see, the website, newhopemn.gov, you can find out more about that contest there. A couple final notes and dates for your calendar. First is Community Conversations. A date has been set, location to come. Again, remind us what this is.
So on October 9th, from 8 to 8:30 to, I better get the time right, 8 to 9:30. We don't know where yet, but typically it'll be with my city manager and maybe one of my council members or me or the police chief or somebody else usually to talk to. Basically, we want to know what's going on in the community. We want to know what's right, what's wrong, where you think we should be spending our money, where we aren't spending it now. It's just a nice way to have a conversation. So next week, I'll tell you where. They have to just get that place firmed down. I'll tell you where it's going to be. You can stop by and have a cup of coffee. You can just stop by and stand there and talk for 10 minutes or sit down and talk for an hour and a half.
Great opportunity. Final note to pass along. Again, we're going to hop back to this Saturday, October 5th. It is a packed day. There's another event happening in the community called Faith in Blue. Tell us more about that.
Well, this is going to be at New Hope Church, the one right off of 169 and 42nd. And there'll be a panel of the city manager, the police chief, and I. Basically, it's a way to ask questions. We want to go to where the people are. Some people are more comfortable going to a church. Some people are more comfortable going to a coffee shop. So again, you can come in and ask us questions. Just come in and listen to answers if that's what you want to do. So that'll be at New Hope Church on the 5th.
And that is from 9 to 11 in the morning if you like to stop by. Well, Mayor, a packed piece of information there from the city of New Hope. So much going on. And again, we leave you with the website, newhopemn.gov, if you want to find out more about some of the details or other things happening. And stick with us, a calendar of events coming up, some of the other things you might want to get involved with in the community. Mayor, have a great week, and we'll look forward to talk to you again next week.
Okay, Dave. See you then. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.
You too. Learn more about the connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.